Yes, this video is going to help us with problem 3 of week 1, day 1 on your FSA review packet. This problem says to place a check in the box next to all the expressions below that are equivalent to -8. So to solve a problem like this, we need to take each individual selection, simplify it as far as we can, and see if it indeed equals -8, because that's what equivalent means. Is it equal? So we start with our first problem, and we notice we have -16 over 2, and we have 8 over 8. There's a couple of ways to do this problem. I would simplify my fractions first and see what I come up with. So I know that 2 will go into 16 8 times, and it's negative. So this is the same thing as -8. And then we know 8 over 8 is just 1, so we keep our multiplication sign there, and we have -8 times 1, and we know that -8 times 1 is indeed -8. So -8 is the same as -8, so this one would be correct. Okay, our second option, we have -1 plus 8x, or sorry, -1x plus 8x minus 1x minus 1. So we look here and we notice we have 3 terms that are alike and 1 term that's different. So that will kind of give me the idea that this is not going to be equivalent, because we can't combine this -1 with any of the x's. So even if we did combine these x's, we would still have this -1 left over. So we can say that this one is not. So we're going to mark that one off. Okay. Next we have -5 times 8 over 5. Now for this one, I would go ahead, and since we have a fraction on this side, I would turn this -5 into a fraction. So this would be the same as writing -5 over 1 times 8 over 5. And in this case, we can use a cross-canceling method to get rid of these 5's, because we know they're across from each other. So we know that we can divide 5 into 5, and this will give us a 1, this will give us a 1, and this makes this problem -1 over 1 times 8 over 1, and we know that we can multiply across the top, and we know it's a negative times a positive, so we know that it's a negative. So 1 times 8 is 8, 1 times 1 is 1, and then we know that anything with 1 on the bottom just means it's 1 whole, so we can write this 8 as a whole number, so it will be -8, and that is what we're looking for. So this one here is equivalent. This fourth option here, we notice we have a -8x minus 3, so these terms can't combine, and we're looking for just an 8, so this one has a variable, so it would not work. And then finally we have 8 raised to the power of -1. Now we know when we raise something to a negative power, it just means we're going to take this number and put it on the bottom of a fraction with 1 on top. So this is the same as saying 1/8, because this negative says put the 8 on the bottom, put a 1 on top, and we know that 1/8 is not equivalent to 8. Alright, I hope this video helps. Stay tuned for more.